This is David O'Connor with Peterborough Kawartha Real Estate, brokered by EXP, and today we're going to be talking about what to budget for when purchasing a home. When I'm working with buyers, one of the first things they ask me is what they should be budgeting for. First thing I usually tell them is actually if they're going to require a mortgage, to go get a pre-approval from the bank. This will give you the peace of mind to know how much you can spend comfortably. Now, a rule of thumb is they say it's called a 28% rule. You shouldn't spend more than 28% of your gross monthly earnings on a mortgage. But again, it's best to go into your lender, have those conversations. They'll do a debt ratio on you, and they'll let you know where you can spend comfortably. So the first item you should be budgeting for is the deposit on the purchase. Now we'll just use $600K as a purchase price as an example, and say you're putting 10% down, which is $60,000. In that scenario, one thing to be mindful of is the CMHC default insurance. Now the rates tend to change. I'll put a link down below so you can look at that later. But in this example, if you purchase a home for $600,000 and you put 10% down, which is $60,000, so your mortgage would be $540,000. But because you only put 10% down, you are subjected to CMHC default insurance, which in this case would be $16,740, which means your total mortgage wouldn't be $540,000, would be $556,740. So that's why CMHC is important to budget for when you're purchasing a home. As I said, these rates do change, so it is best to check for the updated rates, and your lender should be able to help you with this as well. Now, the next item to budget for is your transfer tax. Now, every purchase in Ontario, and Canada for that matter, is subject to transfer tax. Now, there is transfer tax calculators you can use. Usually how it works in Ontario is for the first, I believe, $55,000, it's 0.5%, and then it goes upwards, and the highest range, I believe, is 2%. So you should use a calculator because at the different amounts, there is a different rate, so it's not a straight rate. It's important to note that for Toronto, the rates are also higher. So the calculator I will attach below. You can plug in the town you're in and the purchase price, and it will kick out what the transfer tax is. Now back to our scenario, if you purchase a home for $600,000, now the tax is applicable to the purchase price. So you would pay the transfer tax on the $600,000, which right now would be another $8,475. So you can see why this is also important to budget for. Now, the next thing to budget for would be your lawyer fees. We have noticed these fees have gone up a little bit in the last few years. Up here in Peterborough, I used to tell my clients to budget approximately between $1,200 and $1,800, depending on the lawyer and exactly what they have to do. Sometimes they have to check title on more properties, and then the fees can go up. I would say now the range is probably more $1,500 to $2,000. I would say, and also that could go up if you also get title insurance, and title insurance has gained popularity in recent years. I'll leave that to your lawyer to discuss if title insurance is appropriate for your purchase. And the last thing to budget for is those other intangibles, if you want to call them that. Sometimes you want to pay for a mover, sometimes you want to have a cleaner come in, and also just budgeting for those other purchases like maybe furniture. So it's always better to obviously over budget than under budget. So just to recap, the main items you should be budgeting for when purchasing a home: first, your deposit on the home, the transfer tax, your legal fees, and those other incidentals that we just talked about. The last thing I'll just add is if you're a first-time home buyer, which I'll do another video on later, there are government incentives for first-time home buyers that include transfer tax rebate, tax credit, and there's even home efficiencies incentives as well. So that's another thing to be mindful of if you're a first-time home buyer. And again, I'll do another video on that. So if you like the content that you saw today, please feel free to subscribe. There's going to be lots more videos coming. We're going to have buyer videos. I'm going to have obviously seller videos, and I'm also going to have some agent videos as well. So if you like this content and you want to subscribe, please do so below. Thanks for tuning in.